From new announcements to fresh trailers and developer updates, this video covers the latest news surrounding some of the most interesting isometric games in development. Let's check out these isometric games worth keeping an eye on. Hollow Home is a narrative survival RPG set in a city under occupation where 14-year-old Maxim must survive through conversations, relationships, choices, and practical skills instead of weapons or combat. Players explore 3 changing districts, complete branching quests, learn abilities such as cooking, crafting, scavenging, and first aid, and face decisions that can lead to different outcomes. In the latest update, the developers released a major new demo for the Ukrainian Games Festival, removing the action point system and replacing it with daily resolve. The demo also adds full controller support, a faster save system, and real archive broadcasts from Ukrainian radio recorded during the full-scale invasion. The team says development is now in its final stage, with the Kickstarter campaign fully funded and the full game planned for 2026. Shadow of the Road is a story-driven, turn-based RPG set in an alternate 1868 Japan, where a brutal civil war brings traditional samurai forces into conflict with a technologically advanced army. Magic and machinery exist side by side as warriors, spies, and mystical beings become caught in the struggle. Players will lead a team of characters with different skills, backgrounds, and motivations through tactical battles, while their relationships and decisions can change the course of the story. The adventure begins with Ronin Satoru and Akira protecting a mysterious boy with powerful abilities, with new heroes joining them along the way. A recent character spotlight introduces Hiroe, the daughter of a powerful daimyo whose privileged upbringing has given her strong ambition and confidence. Despite her arrogance, she genuinely wants to help others, and her journey will take her beyond the expectations of her noble family. Star Wars Zero Company is a single-player, turn-based tactics game set during the twilight of the Clone Wars, where you command an elite squad led by former Republic officer Hawks. Build a team of unique operatives, including scoundrels, astromechs, and Jedi, while customizing their abilities, appearances, and equipment. Tactical missions, investigations, squad synergies, and changing battlefields make each decision important as you face a growing threat to the galaxy. In the latest update, the game is now 1 week away from launch on August 27, and players can preload it ahead of release. The developers also confirmed that the Steam version is native and does not require the EA app launcher. Pre-purchases include the Crystalline Astromech Cosmetic Pack with the R3 droid, Crystalline R4 and R5 heads, and the BR1 droid, while Steam players can also collect trading cards and unlockable emoticons. The Vast White is a cozy snowboarding adventure where you play as a small mouse restoring a forgotten ski resort. You can freely ride through snowy slopes, forests, frozen lakes, and hidden valleys, meet local characters, complete quests, and gradually reopen new parts of the mountain. The game also builds its world through character stories, memories, and peaceful activities rather than pressure or competition. A recent update revealed that the demo has been improved with refined character movement, a better interface, bug fixes, new character designs, animations, dialogue, quests, soundtrack, and sound effects. The updated demo is now available, giving players a chance to try these improvements before the full release on November 10. Witchbrook is a magical life sim set in the seaside town of Mossport, where players attend Witchbrook College, learn spells, brew potions, build friendships, pursue romance, run a small business, and customize their cottage and garden. The latest developer update revealed more details about home customization, including furniture, wallpapers, lighting, rugs, gardens, greenhouses, and additional outbuildings. Players can also decorate separate cottages in multiplayer, giving each friend their own space and garden. The developers are currently working through final balancing QA, localization, and console porting, with Korean and Russian support newly confirmed. Witchbrook is scheduled to release in 2026. Titan Quest II returns to the mythology of ancient Greece with an action RPG adventure centered on Nemesis, the goddess of retribution who has corrupted the threads of fate and condemned her enemies to eternal punishment. Players can combine 2 masteries to create their own class, build characters around different skills and equipment, battle creatures from Greek mythology, and explore handcrafted locations filled with secrets, ruins, temples, and powerful enemies. The game also features challenging combat, flexible character customization, meaningful loot, and single-player and online co-op play. The latest Crafting and Spirit Hotfix 2 brings several fixes across the game, including changes to masteries, summons, crafting, quests, UI, controls, and multiplayer. Crafting now returns attached charms and relics when salvaging items, while rings and necklaces can be upgraded through the crafting system. The patch also fixes several ability, tooltip, gamepad, pathfinding, and multiplayer issues. No Rest for the Wicked is a visceral action RPG from Moon Studios featuring Souls-like combat, a handcrafted world, and seamless online co-op for up to 4 players. Set on the plague-ravaged island of Sakra, players take the role of a serum warrior, battling monsters and soldiers while exploring hidden areas, collecting loot, crafting gear, and building a home in Sacrament. The game remains in early access as Moon Studios continues expanding its story, regions, weapons, enemies, and multiplayer features ahead of the 1.0 launch. In the latest update, players were given a final chance to qualify for the Founders Pack rewards by purchasing the game before the 10th of July 2026. Those who qualify will receive exclusive Founders Pack rewards for free when the 1.0 version launches, with the rewards never becoming available through another method. Band of Crusaders is a dark medieval strategy RPG where you lead a knightly order against a demonic invasion across Europe. You can recruit and develop up to 20 Crusaders, manage your camp, build their skills, and create different combat builds while dealing with permanent deaths and dangerous battles. The world changes through seasons, day-night cycles, demonic activity, and interactions between human factions. The latest Chronicle of the Crusade update introduces events, adding dynamic encounters shaped by your Crusaders, resources, reputation, location, time of day, and previous decisions. These situations can create different choices and consequences, from gaining resources to causing injuries, changing traits, damaging relationships, or unlocking future quests. Events can also connect into larger stories, making each campaign more unpredictable. Band of Crusaders currently has no announced release date. Ruiner 2 is a cyberpunk action RPG where fast combat, character switching, gear management, and skill combinations come together through its shell system. You control a roster of unique shells, switching between them during fights while building synergies, upgrading abilities, crafting equipment, and managing resources. The game also supports solo play and up to 3-player co-op with deep progression and challenging endgame content. In the latest update, Recon Games announced the winners of the Ruiner 2 fan art contest, with 2 grand prize entries and 5 runners-up selected. Winning artwork will be integrated into the game as environments, loading screens, posters, or lore materials, with contributors also receiving game copies and official credits. The developers also confirmed that future dev updates will show how these community designs are being adapted into Ruiner 2. ZeroSpace is a hybrid sci-fi RTS and RPG where you command armies across the Orion sector, combining large-scale battles with a cinematic campaign, faction warfare, hero relationships, co-op, PvP, and a persistent galactic war. You can deploy infantry, artillery, aircraft, mechs, orbital weapons, and nuclear strikes while choosing from 4 main factions and multiple mercenary groups. The latest, the 19th of August 2026 update improves performance across large battles by optimizing animations for numerous units while also fixing pathfinding, network throttling, replay freezes, crashes, and several gameplay issues. Galactic War receives matchmaking and score improvements, while Versus, Skirmish, and Survival get updated visuals, spectator features, replay fixes, and other quality of life changes. Anvil Empires is a massively multiplayer medieval warfare game where thousands of players build settlements, manage resources, organize armies, and fight for control of a persistent world. Players can grow towns, establish supply lines, construct fortresses, and take part in massive sieges and battles. The latest Devblog 29 update introduces a new territory zone system tied to the military victory condition, along with early siege tools like mantlets and makeshift battering rams. It also redesigns wounded avatars, adds fortress bounties, new bridges, a reworked tavern and town workshop, forest cover with regrowth, and new marketplace and crafting filters. These changes are currently being developed for the pre-alpha and may change before release. Vampire: The Masquerade Eternal Whispers is a story-driven CRPG set in a dark, modern Montreal. You play as Gabe, a vampire who wakes up after decades of sleep and gets pulled into a mystery involving vampires, hidden secrets, and political conflicts. The latest update, Building Your Protagonist, shows how players can customize Gabe's appearance, gender, attributes, skills, disciplines, merits, and flaws. Gabe starts as a caitiff with no known clan, giving players more freedom to build the character. The developers also revealed that dialogue choices, friendships, betrayals, and moral decisions will change relationships, quests, and the story. Minecraft Dungeons 2 is an action RPG where you fight through dangerous lands, battle hordes of enemies, and collect powerful weapons, armor, and artifacts. The adventure takes you across the overworld and beyond as you try to stop a new evil threatening two worlds, with support for up to 4-player co-op. In the latest update, mysterious rifts are opening across the overworld and leading to the Sift, a new dimension filled with uncharted lands and dangerous threats. Players can team up, discover new ways to customize their loadouts and playstyles, and prepare for some of their toughest battles yet. Brigador Killers is an isometric action game where you fight on foot and in vehicles, build your arsenal, salvage machines, and take on the forces controlling Mar Naso. You can use more than 30 firearms, customize vehicles, and battle through a campaign as a member of Team Anchor. The game has now entered early access, bringing an extended narrative campaign, remixed maps, new levels, merchants, base upgrades, new art, and tougher enemy AI. The developers also plan to add more story content, new enemy factions, alternate rigs, improved artwork, and localization for several languages. Longer-term plans include Linux controller and Steam Deck support, modding tools, mapping tools, and achievements, while hotfixes are expected after launch to address bugs and crashes. Embers of the Uncrowned is a dark fantasy MMORPG set on a continent devastated by an elven invasion, where players return as the rightful lord of House Harborwell to reclaim their lost domain and rebuild their house. The game features fast-paced isometric combat, unique classes, skill trees, loyal companions, domain bosses, raids, settlement growth, gear upgrades, and character customization. Recent developer updates reveal improvements based on demo feedback, including a clearer combat camera, reduced terrain and object obstructions, customizable camera rotation, flexible mouse or keyboard movement, saved control settings, better gamepad handling, and more responsive dodge and dash actions. These features are still in development, and its release date is coming soon. Gods, Death, and Reapers is an extraction action RPG set in a post-apocalyptic dark fantasy world where mythology has collapsed and the gods are dead. Recruited by Death, you enter dangerous realms, complete objectives, fight enemies and other players, and extract valuable loot before Death takes everything away. You can play through high-stakes PvPvE, safer PvE maps, or team up with others in party-based gameplay while upgrading your sanctuary, customizing loadouts, and collecting powerful gear and artifacts. A unique respawn mechanic also lets you reclaim your corpse or possess another fallen Reaper after your first death. The latest update confirms that a training area is coming to the sanctuary in the next playtests, giving players a dedicated place to test weapons, abilities, and combos. Another recent update also revealed the Double Axe as an upcoming addition. Warhammer 40,000 Dark Heresy puts you in the role of an Inquisitor's acolyte, investigating heresy and uncovering conspiracies across the Calixis sector. You will command a diverse warband, including Imperial soldiers and unusual allies such as a Kroot mercenary, with each companion bringing different abilities and fully voiced story moments. Turn-based combat rewards careful planning, targeting enemy weak points, and managing party morale to gain an advantage. Outside combat. Investigations involve interrogating suspects, uncovering hidden plots, and making difficult decisions that can shape the story. The game also explores the Inquisition's power, bureaucracy, and internal conflicts while dealing with threats from Xenos, mutants, heretics, and the mysterious Tyrant Star. Graft is a story-driven survival horror RPG from the creators of BattleTech and the Shadowrun trilogy. Set aboard the Ancient and Dying Ark, players must scavenge weapons and supplies, craft equipment, manage limited ammunition, and face strange characters and nightmarish creatures. Its main mechanic lets players graft body parts taken from enemies onto themselves, gaining new abilities, upgrades, and knowledge. These grafts can also bring memories and impulses that affect identity and relationships, while player choices shape the story and the fate of other survivors. Harebrained has now revealed the first story trailer, Morphosis, giving a closer look at the game's narrative and its central question of who the player will become before escaping the Ark. Static Hour is a 1980s newsroom thriller where you play an overnight news editor trapped inside a small-town newsroom during a mysterious lockdown. Reports of violence and strange events arrive through phone calls, radio broadcasts, police scanners, and other analog equipment, forcing you to sort real information from false reports and speculation. What you choose to broadcast can influence public fear and the town's response, while the mystery unfolds almost entirely through audio and information coming from outside. The game draws on its 1980s setting with rotary phones, Rolodexes, CRT monitors, and other period equipment, creating an unsettling atmosphere where much of the horror stays out of sight. A new trailer and screenshots have also offered a closer look at the setting and gameplay. Static Hour is coming to PC through Steam, with no specific release date announced. Red Recon 1944 is an isometric real-time tactical game that puts players in command of a Soviet reconnaissance squad operating behind enemy lines in East Prussia during autumn 1944. The campaign combines stealth, sabotage, intelligence gathering, and direct combat, with options such as disguises, silent takedowns, ambushes, and tactical pauses for coordinated attacks. Players control soldiers with different backgrounds and specialized skills, while dealing with enemy pursuit, limited resources, scarce local support, and harsh winter conditions. The developers are continuing work toward the planned Q4 2026 release, giving players an early look at its tactical missions and behind-the-lines warfare. Liminal Point is a psychological survival horror game set on a desolate, fog-covered island filled with abandoned locations, strange creatures, and hidden secrets. You play as Lyra, a former rock star who returns to uncover the truth behind her bandmate Mira's disappearance and the events that destroyed their lives. The game combines classic survival horror with limited resources, inventory management, map-based navigation, and tense encounters across places like a mansion, hospital, sewers, and ruined streets. Its psychological story explores memory, tragedy, and the blurred line between reality and nightmares, as Lyra's surroundings become increasingly surreal. An isometric perspective, detailed environments, dynamic lighting, and atmospheric sound design add to the unsettling setting. Stronghold 4 brings back the classic castle sim formula with a cinematic prequel campaign, detailed castle management, siege warfare, and a living medieval world where weather can affect crops in combat. You'll follow Penryn of Wethel through 22 campaign missions while balancing food, taxes, honor, construction, and military forces, alongside skirmish, free build, and other solo modes. The latest developer update reveals that the game is being built in Unreal Engine 5, allowing Firefly Studios to add new units, rolling landscapes, improved destruction technology, and stronger cinematic tools while drawing on lessons from past Stronghold titles. Stronghold 4 is planned for 2026, with early access also set to receive additional content before the 1.0 version. Darkhaven is a dark fantasy ARPG set after civilization has collapsed, where survivors battle monsters across a fully destructible and procedurally generated world. Players can dig through terrain, build settlements, discover hidden areas, and reshape the environment while using powerful gear, skill trees, and tactical movement in combat. Solo play, co-op, PvP-enabled realms, persistent worlds, trading, and extensive modding tools add further depth to its open-ended adventure. Black Plague Survival is a medieval open-world survival RPG set in 1347 Europe, where the Black Death has turned the fallen into hungry zombies and destroyed the Old Order. Starting as a refugee, you can develop your character into a skilled knight, builder, or alchemist, while gathering survivors and creating your own clan. Build and defend a settlement, collect resources, craft armor and gunpowder weapons, and fight infected hordes with swords, muskets, and hand cannons. The game supports up to 4-player co-op, allowing players to share resources and build a fortified citadel together. New Arcline is a story-rich, party-based RPG set in a world where arcane magic clashes with steampunk technology. You arrive in the city of New Ark searching for a cure for your family, only to uncover corruption, inequality, and a massive conspiracy. You can build your character as a human or elf, master magic or advanced technology, recruit companions, and make choices that affect the story. Combat uses turn-based tactical battles with skills, spells, crafting, and consumables. Glasshouse is an isometric turn-based CRPG set in a post-capitalist feudal punk world facing an approaching global war. Players take the role of Wieldmare, trapped inside an apartment block with 3 dead bodies while investigating a political conspiracy and managing dangerous relationships with neighbors. Combat combines dice-based attacks with dialogue-driven encounters, while a 5-ideology political compass shapes choices, abilities, and conversations. The interconnected dialogue system includes puzzles, quick-time events, hidden interactions, and item-based options, with more than 8 possible endings. Panzer Strike is a World War II military strategy game inspired by classic 2000s gameplay, where players command forces from either the USSR or Germany across huge battlefields. It features more than 40 types of realistic military equipment, long-range firepower, detailed damage and armor mechanics, non-linear missions, and thousands of units, with no building mechanics. Players can take on battles solo or compete in online multiplayer. The game also recently received a playable demo, following its second playtest held from May 30 to the 1st of June 2026. Loulan, the Cursed Sand is an action RPG set along the ancient Silk Road in the western regions of China, where an exiled royal guard returns to the fallen kingdom of Loulan to find his beloved princess. Playing as the skeletal warrior known as the Cursed Sand, you can switch between bone and sand forms, use unique sand abilities, solve puzzles, and fight large groups of enemies in top-down melee combat. Different terrain, enemy types, elites, and bosses add variety to battles, while the ancient Western fantasy setting offers handcrafted regions to explore. The latest update also says the team is still planning localization for additional languages, with more language support being worked on. UnderRail 2 Infusion is an isometric turn-based RPG set in a distant future where humanity survives beneath the ruined surface in a vast network of underground metro stations. You play as a scavenger, searching dangerous areas for technology and resources, starting in the hidden city of Soledon. Combat uses short, reactive turns with firearms, energy rifles, melee weapons, special attacks, and different stances. The game also features a dynamic world where NPCs and creatures follow their own schedules and can move between areas. Deep crafting lets you build and modify weapons, armor, and equipment, while computers, hacking, locks, and machinery provide other ways to solve problems. Scarlet Lake is a retro survival horror adventure where Detective Ben Murphy travels to a restricted town after receiving a message from his missing wife. Set on Mercy Island, the town is under government restrictions while secret tests take place. But Ben soon discovers its residents have gone mad, and strange creatures are taking over their bodies. Survival depends on scavenging supplies, managing limited inventory space, upgrading weapons, and deciding when to fight or avoid dangerous creatures. Combat uses an isometric perspective inspired by over-the-shoulder survival horror, giving the familiar formula a different viewpoint. Players can search the abandoned town for useful items and valuable objects while uncovering what happened. Zarya is a narrative driving simulator set in a post-Soviet village where you play as Vasily, a local driver helping villagers while delivering cargo across fields, dirt roads, and overgrown paths. You can tow vehicles, transport harvests, upgrade your car, and take on everyday tasks while meeting the people who live in the village. The game also includes fishing, garage gatherings, and other slice-of-life activities built around its rural setting. Classic cars and familiar landscapes add to the nostalgic atmosphere. Zarya currently has no announced release date, but a playtest is available to request access.